it comes to signing things. My dad was fighting in the parking lot. He's like, Zach, why are you taking so long? I'm like, I got mobbed by the paparazzi. Yeah, it's fun.
Can you go click on share your screen, Brittany?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of presentations, did they like the photos I took?
Oh, yeah.
At the botanical.
Just pick entire screen. There you go.
It was fun because no one was there. I was able to stage them perfectly. And
Good.
yeah, you can keep those and use them for whenever you want.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Brittany.
Okay, so my project is called Healthy Heroes. It's a computer game for kids. The summary, the Healthy Heroes computer game makes learning about food fun for children. The object of the game is to reach the finish line before time runs out. The hero must eat the healthy foods to fly faster and avoid the unhealthy foods, which slows the hero down. Problem statement, the National Institute of Health reported a study that found kids consumed up to 120% more empty calories than appropriate for their body's needs, and underconsumed up to 20% of nutrient-essential foods, such as fruits and vegetables. This game will show kids that eating healthy foods fuels their body and gives them more energy. And the target audience, of course, is kids aged 6 to 12. And I think the game would be best suited at the Science Center, is what I was thinking. In the description, before the game begins, the child will have a choice of a girl or boy hero. Once the game begins, the hero will fly. I'm thinking through outer space. I might change that, just flying like maybe through the sky. Anyway, surrounded by floating foods, both unhealthy and healthy. The healthy foods will be fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins, and the unhealthy foods will be processed food, candy, and soda. The healthier foods the hero eats, the faster he or she will fly to the finish line. However, if the hero eats unhealthy foods, he or she will slow down and turn a light green color to indicate an illness. The child will win the game if the hero beats the clock. And that's what I have so far.
What do you guys have comments?
Do you envision it going like in a cabinet or as a standalone?
I guess a standalone, yeah.
Standalone?
Yeah, like just a, yeah.
Like an arcade machine?
Kind
So
of,
it's
yeah.
mobile, you could put it in more places than using this nutrition place.
Yeah, I mean, like an art museum obviously wouldn't make sense. So I just thought, yeah, the Science Center might be most relevant.
And maybe you could print out coupons if you get high scores for healthy foods.
Yeah.
Instead of
To me,
tickets.
the food connection gives it a lot of versatility. Sorry, Jack.
No, you're fine. Like the first thing I thought was like at Chuck E. Cheese's how they print out tickets for prizes. Well, maybe like at the Science Center they have that food court with the healthy option store that has like apples and like fresh deli sandwiches and all that.
Oh, okay.
You can maybe you could print out like a coupon for free like a free fruit smoothie or something if you get a high score.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I want you to be thinking more about connecting it to the space and taking advantage of the environment.
Okay.
Think about, like, this could be, the way that this is described right now, it could be an app that you could play anywhere. Or it could be, if the kids were getting physically involved, then it could be like an Xbox game where you're playing with like the Kinect or whatever. And so how do we make this special for this specific space? And I think Zach's kind of thinking in that right. Yeah, Zach's thinking in the right direction. So could it be part of a physical installation? I mean, maybe you just need to think about using technology creatively here. What if these flying fruits were somehow projected and the kids had to jump and catch them? Think about like if the game was projected on a wall and somehow there was motion detection that so then you're actually getting the kids to be physical.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of ways to make them move. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I interject something that the Science Center has already had? They used to have, before they remodeled the front section, they had this giant Explorer board, and there were projectors on the ceiling, and games would be projected on the floor. And you would go around running and stopping things, and so like you could do that. You could be like squashing out the rotten food, like running around, and like it was like about the width of this room. It was a huge. It was in one of the main hallways, and it was blocked, and it was like sectioned off where like people wouldn't run into you. You could just play with it, and so you take this screen, the width of this room, and probably about from there to there, and you put it on the ground. You have a couple projectors, and it's a pressure-sensitive floor pad. And what you do is like you would stop on it. Sometimes it would be like painting, you would feed. Sometimes you would be like killing little enemies, or sometimes you can make music. They had a piano thing, and so that would be a little thing an idea, because the Science Center already has that technology in place, and you can just utilize that.
So that's an idea. I mean, the technology is there to make it a physical experience, which totally ties in with your message.
Yeah.
And so I think this could get interesting, like do a little research about what type, actually propose the technology. There's a piece I know at the Museum of Science and Industry where kids are projected into the game kind of thing. It's a dance game. So I'm looking to you guys to specify really specific technology that you want to incorporate, like a particular like rear projection, and use some of that language as you start to explain how it's going to work.
Okay.
And then think about, I love the idea of the coupons or whatever that gets them to go to the and make it special for this space.
Okay.
You can even, it's like, when you target it for a specific area, you might even say exactly where this belongs. Like in the St. Louis Science Center, this would be on the lower level where it fits into the theme of blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You can even be really specific about exactly where this would go.
Okay.
To show you're thinking about kind of thematically how it would work and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's a good idea. Does anybody else have anything to show?
I have some ideas.
Okay, go ahead.
And actually, I just read something that kind of moots my point, which makes me very sad.
So you don't have to stop sharing. He'll just continue on.
The thing I was going to show, one of the aspects of it is ending today, which makes me really sad. But, so my idea is also at the Science Center. And my idea involves having people interact, and I actually found a way to make this an interactive feature, and not less physical, but more of interacting with the thing itself. So NASA has this thing, and I'm just going to go to their website. And they're encouraging this, actually. They have a whole program for students and kids. Can I just click stop sharing? Okay. Actually, there it is, Mars Explorers Wanted. So NASA has this thing where they are now releasing data as it comes in.
Ooh, on any mission?
On almost any mission. In fact, let's go, I'm on the Mars rover right now, and I'm going to click.
Boy, that's a good time either for the little kid.
So we're in 1500. So I'll go back to the early days of the mission, because there are actually some very interesting photos that I want to show off. So yeah, everything, even the blurry stuff that no one really cares about. So NASA is releasing all this as it comes in, basically. And what they're wanting to do is the public. They're asking the public to take all this data and they want them to do science on their own. So what I want to do is have a station where kids at the science center can take a lot of this live data and they can actually do quote unquote science with the images. Now, most of the science that NASA, that the kids can do are things like just enhancing the photos and stuff. But what NASA is doing with the new spacecraft at Jupiter is that they have a camera on board that is specifically for children and students. It's called GenoCam. And what they want is they want kids to pick a spot on Jupiter and they can vote. And then once the students pick places, they get to process the images. And so already people have taken images from the spacecraft and they've done their own stuff with it. So my idea is that they can have a selection of newer images from the spacecraft, and they would be able to say, look, I found new clouds. Like, it would be more simulated, obviously. It wouldn't be like doing the actual science, but it would be like showing them what it's like to be a real scientist with real data. Does that sound cool?
It does sound cool. I like the idea. Are these images?
These are real images.
Okay. Are they able to scale up or down?
Oh, yeah.
Based on what you design?
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be
touchscreen.
Oh yeah. NASA. These images are. If I go to just the raw images, like if I go back to the Mars rovers, and I pick and I just go to let's just go to today, or yeah, look at that, 10:25 at 9:58 Universal Time. That was it was 6 hours ago. This is how big the photos are. They are huge. And so like they could like, oh look, what's that up there? And they would be like, look at this cool rock I found. Like they would simulate science. They would pretend to be actual scientists with real data coming back, and it would be like stuff that would never be seen before.
What science projects can they do?
So like it would be preset stuff, obviously. Like they could click a button and it would like put the image through a filter and like Photoshop that would like bring out the colors of the different gases in the atmosphere, like the one in Juno. Like I could see like we have the auroras and we have different.
Zach, hold on, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think that we're not really getting to what is the interactive experience?
Oh, the interactive, it's a giant touch screen.
Okay, so it's a giant touch screen and you can explore images, but what if there were like, how can we make this a bigger experience than someone who finds an image and enhances it? Just listen for a second. What if I could leave, like, let's say I'm the kid and I'm playing with it and I see a spot and somehow I can leave my scientific notes and explore it, and then somehow said, Julie Griffey discovered this here's what she thinks it is. And then as perhaps other places in the museum sees this, what are our Mars explorers doing? And like somehow you can a live feed of the exploration, or it can be like latest discoveries from our scientists on Mars.
That's
go experience too downstairs or something like that. So you need to. I'm just throwing stuff off the top of my head.
I never would have thought of. I was thinking about sending some of the stuff to NASA too. You could send it off to like NASA has things where kids can submit this kind of stuff too.
But you need to get precise about exactly how this is going to work.
Oh yeah, I agree. Well, yeah, this is just my first present. This is an evolution of that mission control thing I was saying. So like what people have done is they've like on the first day of the images from Mars, we had all these right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone took every single one of those images and this is so cool. Someone took all those images and made a video of the rover going down to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of stuff that you can do.
Okay, well, you need to define exactly what that is.
Oh yeah, I know. This is just my first presentation.
Right.
But I like your idea about having like a ticker feed or something in the other parts of the science center, saying like. So actually, I will integrate that.
To have small stations that plug into the big ticker.
I haven't figured it out yet. Oh, sorry. If you haven't figured it out yet, this has to be like, I'm looking how you're connecting it into the space, how you can make it physical, how can you can make it special, and something beyond what we can do on a mobile device.
All right.
Or maybe we connect our mobile devices to it to encourage people to get their phones out and to interact with something that's in the physical space. You know, take advantage of the physical space. You can supply objects, you have other kids in there, you have a history, so there's people that have come through and left their mark. Unique qualities of this physical exhibit space and take advantage of that to produce something that's interesting over time.
They did that in the room, believe it or not, history museum determined now on Route 66. There's two big maps.
Mm-hmm.
One's huge, it's as long as this wall. It's a map where all visitors come. You can interact with their locations and where they went by tapping on smaller version of the giant screen in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other map, you can trace where the old alignment went through St. Louis by pressing on it and putting in but the wall-based thing, the big map one that I just described, there's little stations out in front of it that do the interactivity on it. It shoots up like this big ticker display.
As you're describing this, I kind of want, I'm thinking about maybe changing your visual example scavenger hunt to go look for some of these examples. And you don't even need to necessarily go to the museum itself. You can find a lot of these things, or did I actually have you do that? You can find out, you can see a lot about these online. I'm sure the History Museum website talks about exactly what you're telling us about, Brian.
And so one more thing I can add, NASA has this thing called My NASA Data for students. Because it's My NASA Day, say A+. Like, you know.
Yeah, got it.
And so you can take like this thing, like you can do clouds, monthly cloud coverage, and it'll show us monthly cloud coverage of Earth, and then we can take a time. And it just shows us, and so that's another thing they can do is they can look at Earth, they can look at Mars, they can look at the Moon, and then they could like, and then it'll be extremely base. It'll be not extremely basic, but it'll be simplified. Like you can only. How many? It'll be very graphical. It'll be very graphical unit interface. You can like tap the big red spot of Jupiter and it'll give you like it'll be like blah 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 so and so show that the winds on Jupiter were 500 miles an hour or something like that. But I mean, it's not really a physical thing, but it's more of a learning thing.
Right. Well, I don't want you reinventing the wheel. They've made these cool interfaces and these experiences that are appropriate for the web and exploring the data they have. So you need to take a portion of it into a physical space and make it more accessible to the general public.
Yeah, and that's where the giant touchscreen thing.
Well, you got to articulate that exactly what it is. You know.
All right. Well, I haven't wrote any.
I know. I'm just telling you where you need to go next with this.
All right.
Hey, Sarah, do you have stuff to present? Huh.
She's talking, but we can't hear her.
Yeah. Your audio's not working.
Oh, no, it's this.
But I have my volume up too. Sarah?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go.
Can you turn that audio down?
Okay, my headphones are not working.
You had stuff to present, Sarah?
I don't really have anything to present except like my idea.
Okay.
But I don't want to take someone else's turn if they want to go.
I don't think, is anybody else here planning on presenting? Oh, we have three more. Oh,
I'll
shoot.
go after her, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, go ahead. Just share. You can share your idea.
Okay. So I was gonna make an interactive game that teaches children survival skills and teaches parents survival skills too. And it's like a kid can play the game with their chaperone, and it will give them different scenarios in which they'll have to use certain items to get through survival situations. And yeah, and then it will be like they'll be given a limited amount of time, and then it's like a pass or fail if they use the correct items to get through the survival situation. That's basically what I have right now.
What do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts about this?
It reminds me of something I saw at the Magic House a long.
Can you hear Zach?
No, I can't hear.
It reminds me of something I saw at the Magic House a long time ago, before they remodeled it for the 5th time. They had like an outdoor survival thing where it had things like we would have to spring across a pit, and you had to like run through the jungle, and it was the coolest thing.
Yeah, I just thought, I don't know, I was in Girl Scouts as a kid, but besides that, I never learned like survival skills. So I thought it might be a good opportunity, and it's fun and it's engaging, and I think kids are interested in that stuff.
I'm wondering
But I also, sorry, go ahead.
if you could connect it to some physical props.
Yeah, like make it in a cave setting.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should do this on like an application game, or if I should do a hands-on thing. I didn't know what were the possibilities that I could do exactly.
They have this exhibit at the St. Louis Science Center right now, and it's kind of like an interactive video, and there are these people that are on a screen, and it's like a dig, an archaeological dig, and kids can dig on the ground, and the video changes based on what they've done in the physical space. So they have people that come on the video and say, oh, it looks like you've discovered. So you could have it like a narrator who, I can imagine walking into a cave or something like that. And then there's a narrator that greets you like, hello, are you ready to try to survive or something like that? And then that narrator is prompting the kid to do things. And based on somehow the technology is there's some kind of sensors or something with the physical props that if they do it correctly, then the narrator takes them on to the next scenario. It's sort of like a branched narrative story, sort of like a choose your own adventure sort of story, but it's with video. And where you go next is dependent on how successful you are in surviving or interacting with these physical props.
Right. And I also had another idea where it's like the survival game, but you have them pick like, different situations, and depending on which situation they pick, they can't have a different outcome, and then it leads them to another one, and then eventually they beat the game or they don't. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm explaining it great.
Kind of. I mean, it's kind of, I might have a totally different picture in my head. But I want you to think about how you can make this connect it to a physical space and make it an experience that's unlike, just playing an app on a mobile device or being at a website. Connect it to the physical space.
So I should just make an interactive activity that is somewhat somewhat digital, but not all digital.
It doesn't. I mean, it needs to be. It needs to be connect some kind of physical component to it, where the kids have to do something that's unique, that's physical, that couldn't be done in an app, or couldn't be done on a website.
Okay.
It still teaches something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just wondering this when I was making my plans for it, and now I know what I can do with it.
You guys are good. Improvise when you mock these up. You know, it's going to require some Photoshop of like taking pictures of screens and superimposing them on backgrounds. You're going to need to be creative with your photoshopping or your sketches, or however you're going to communicate what it is that you're trying to do. Okay, Sarah, I'm going to move on to other people in the room since we've got 3 or 4 more presentations here.
Sure. Okay.
Oh wait, Eric has a comment for you.
So I recommend watching the TV show Survivor.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Can you turn on the- Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'd recommend watching the TV show Survivor, because every episode they have like challenges and like different like courses where they have to compete against each other, and they have a lot of like cool concepts. So that could give some inspiration.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't seen that show in a really long time, but I could take a look at it.
Eric, do you want to present yours next?
Sure.
So when you say physical, do you mean like we have like all of our interactive things have to be including kids moving around and all that? And
Not necessarily. I just think some kind of a control or an experience that's beyond.
that's what I thought you meant. I thought you meant they had to be like moving around and like be physically active, or like they had to be, because you said things like dancing and stuff like that.
Well, like somebody proposed a project last year that involved using one of those interactive tables. That's a pretty, like the way that you interact with that and swiping stuff on the table and putting things together. That's something that you really couldn't do on an app with a group of people because of the scale of it and because of the way that this table works. So it's not
my giant screen thing. So my giant interactive table thing is okay.
Well, you really haven't defined exactly what it is that you're talking about. I don't. This is the first that you said about the table.
Well, it's like a giant. It's like a you know, like one of those giant interactive touch screens with the time sign.
Okay. Well, make it something that's beyond what you can do on a website. Like if I could say, well, why don't you just put this on the web, or why doesn't this an app?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the thing where you said about having like latest explorers found this.
Okay. Well, you just define it, and then we'll talk about it. Eric, you want to go ahead?
Sure. I have a very rough idea, but it's something to build on.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, so I was brainstorming a bunch of ideas, and I was trying to figure out something that wouldn't be related to chess, but then
It always comes back to chess.
So I was inspired by like these giant chess sets that you can buy on Amazon, which are basically, it's just a big mat, like a checkerboard, and the giant pieces made of plastic. And I thought it would be cool if like each square on the giant board like had a sensor to it, and you could tell when someone is standing on the square, and then create different games based on kind of moving around through the chessboard. So
would you actually have pawns, or would you?
That's kind of up for debate. I think there's enough games where you don't actually need the physical pieces, especially if you could animate the squares and like, either change colors on the squares or animate them to like show a piece.
So you
play really bad chess.
Really bad chess.
It's
I don't know.
You don't need the pieces, you need the board. Really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And then-
You can play all kinds of games on that board.
And then either have like some kind of app or some kind of connected computer where you can control
Right.
what game and kind of the status of what's going on.
Yeah, if I was going to play you with checkers on the board, we would probably want to have tablets so we can play the game along with tablets. Like we've done the big board,
Right.
something like that.
Well, the whole point is to get kids up and moving while still
Right.
kind of training the
So-
spatial awareness.
And there are chess type of learning games that you can play without having the pawns.
Yes, and
Okay.
there's a few I'll show you which are 2D games I can find on my computer, but can be converted into this physical activity.
I like
So-
this idea.
Yeah, I think it can be expanded. So
Right. I mean, you could have you could have like, oh, my father-in-law plays some chess game on the computer. It's with Omar Sharif or something like that, and he's like, "And your next move," and like it kind of coaches them through it.
oh, you can have like
So you
sounds
could
too,
have
right?
like the video narrator
Right.
kind of egging somebody on, on the screen as they're moving on the board.
Sure,
It's like the scene in Harry Potter at the end.
exactly.
Exactly.
Except no one does.
That's why we kicked off. And it'll resonate with people who play it because of that.
Because of that scene, yeah. Okay, I barely know. That's my only Harry Potter reference I can possibly make.
That's a good one, though. Appropriate.
Tommy and I sort of lost interest at the end of book 2. We're both like, this is crazy nonsense. I don't really get this. I'm sorry. I know that's like blasphemy, but
You don't have a Harry Potter wedding? Like this is painful.
I'm sorry.
Hurt.
Like people are out there playing Quidditch. I'm like, wait, what?
Quidditch is controversial on
Why is it? Okay, we won't. We're not. We're getting. Okay, Eric.
Why is it controversial?
Hmm?
Why is it controversial?
Because it's not a sport.
Yeah.
That's why.
Division 3 athletes have spoken up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Eric. Sorry.
That's okay. So I thought I would just demo a few couple
Mhm.
games real quick. One possible game is like coordinate training or
Mhm.
chess vision. Each square has its own coordinates based on the numbers and letters. So what could be possible is if there's a screen and it says like A7, the kid has to run to A7 and just step on it and touch the sensor and then run back H3 and keep running around and try and get as many coordinates as possible in a certain time period. So I thought that would be cool to test their spatial awareness. Another game, which actually programmed in the past, it's called Knights Tour. And this would require the kid to hop around. If they touch a square which can't be moved to, they lose. And how it works is you have to move like the knight, just this knight in an L shape. And you have to cover as many squares as possible. And once you go to a square, you can't come back to that square. And for this, the squares would need to change colors, but you try and get as many squares as possible out like this. Some kind of like scoreboard or high score. So those are just a couple examples, but there's a bunch more that could be implemented depending on how technology works.
I mean, isn't there a chess museum?
There's the World Chess Hall of Fame in Central West End, so
So yeah,
these are applicable.
yeah, exactly. You could propose it for that space. I mean, this you could also set it up that it could be played in different ways. In reality, whether it would be a 3D animated character or like a real person that coached you through the game would be kind of funny. Like on the wall, talking you through it, like, that's a bad move.
Yeah.
Do you really want to do that? You know what I mean? Funny. I think this is a great idea. And you articulate it, explain some of the technology. How are you going to, do a little research?
Exactly.
What type of sensors are going to be used? The problem with mats that I found, having made mat games, is like a kid moves to one spot and then they step off of it. And then you kind of need to deactivate it. So once they reach, you know what I mean? Because they're always going to be on a hot spot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, the square is always like either on or off, depending where they are, right?
Right, but
It's
like,
not
let's say
possible.
I reach my destination. You say go to A3, and I'm standing on A3, then I kind of slightly move off of it. Then they're going to be standing on the square right there.
Right. Well, the way it worked for that vision game is once they hit A3, then they're given the next coordinate automatically. And it doesn't matter where they are, as long as they hit the given coordinate, it will continue on.
Okay.
So,
And I guess you would need to make it far enough away that they're not inadvertently standing on it after they've hit A3.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Any other comments or questions?
Maybe potential games should be pointed out in the instructions too, since we just had that discussion. There could be dozens and dozens that could be applicable here, but the scope of the project, I mean, splitting out to it.
Oh, this, I had 4 in mind. The 2 which I just showed, and then a couple more kind of involving creative thinking, but also moving around the board. So really the goal is to combine like physical fitness and spatial awareness.
Okay. Mindy, do you want to go next?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me change up here too. Okay. Oh, because you're going to present from up there. Got it. Wow, I didn't think we were going to have this many presentations. That's great.
Okay. So for mine, I figured I wanted to do a music-based interactive kind of thing. And I always loved this game. I'm a dork and I go to Disney a lot. And they have this game and I love it. Basically what it is you stand in these little like tines, for lack of a better term, and then you move your arms, and then this little guy does a pitch kind of where your arms are on the scale and like moves around and dances around. And I'm like, this is cool. It could be way cooler because it's also kind of lame. So I decided to adapt it and make it more universal for kids. So I thought to have a game that would be like that teaches sort of beat, rhythm, and exposure to different types of music that they wouldn't necessarily be exposed to. Because when you think of that kind of thing, I don't know, I picture stupid little Mozart telling me how to do the Mozart song or whatever. But mine, I'm going to have Tchaikovsky talking to kids, because that's fun. Teach them how to say Tchaikovsky. That'll be also fun. So I have it as it's a square, and in there you have sensors lining each side. It's only, I forget how much I say, 2 by 2 square, about 2 inches deep. So it's not very big, and it's like completely hollow. There's nothing in it. So where your hands are on there, it corresponds to pitch and or tempo, depending on which one you're doing. And there would be 1 to 2 different games where he plays one of the songs Tchaikovsky's known for, so Sleeping Beauty, Nutcracker Suite, Swan Lake, any of those. And all you have to do is kind of keep time. He would be up there kind of acting like a metronome, and the kids were going to have to like swing their arms and try and match the pitch. And then there's free play, which was always the most fun for me when I was playing with those kind of games, where you just get to, like, you have an instrument or whatever, like the one on the right would be violins, one on the left would be horns or whatever. And then you get to play your own kind of music. So you would learn hand-eye coordination, classical music appreciation, beat, tempo, rhythm, all of that. I have my little Tchaikovsky here. He's cute. Looks like that. Kind of like, I based it off of like 1969 Disney kind of animation, so it's something visually familiar. And like, I don't know, I'm not so good at it full on, but like, yeah, it's cutesy. And yeah, I did a bunch of research. You don't care about that, but basically that's what I'm going for. The space is pretty portable because all you need is a projector hooked up to like a computer, which is fine. It's no big deal. And then like these empty little squares, so it doesn't have to stay in one particular place. I figure kind of like how at the Science Center they have like rotating exhibits that come around. It would be like a travel and music exhibit with a bunch of other stuff, because it doesn't need to stay rooted there, but it can. And it's small. It's only like 5 feet And so yeah, while you're waiting, you can see the other kids, interacting and doing their thing. And yeah, it's very active with the swinging arms and all that.
Would more than one person play at the same time?
Yeah, I figured there'd be 2 trying to play the same thing, and it doesn't, like, it wouldn't penalize you for getting it wrong, but you could hear like sour notes if you're getting it wrong, so you try to be on the thing. And yeah, I wouldn't think more than 2 people could play at a time, otherwise it gets too cluttered and noisy. But yeah, 2 people can go.
Where do they have this at Disney?
It's in called the What Ifs Labs. It's at the very end of a Figment ride in Epcot, and no one goes there ever. So like no one knows about it. I had to search the internet so hard to find a picture of it because no one knows or cares about it. But yeah, it's at the end of a crappy ride.
That's interesting.
They had like this something for the Wii.
Where was this at in Disney World then?
Epcot?
Epcot, okay. I've been there. I'd never seen this though, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's that.
You can go to Disney World 10 times and still find something new.
Yeah, for real. There's this.
I like the portability aspect that you thought about. You thought client side. Because an institution, they want to move this thing, or possibly reprogram for different cultural period.
Right.
Whatever.
And I think that's a good selling point too. That this is a module that you're building for this particular system, which could be changed over time. I think where you want to drill down a little bit more, I think the idea is totally valid. Green going to look like how is this going to be different from what you've already seen, and then explaining the the modularity of it. Like it could be switched out for different types of composers and different types of, themes. One thing I want you to look out for is like when you say children are very inclined towards things they can hear and touch, I think that when you make statements like that, yeah, it's probably true. However, you don't have it backed up by anything. So I think it'd be more compelling if you had some kind of a statistic or a study.
I haven't put them all in yet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. According to blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
then a study done by, like you have to.
Right. I didn't want to
that
put
up.
a whole bunch in here until I got my idea cleared. But
Yeah.
like I've thought of that. I'm gonna put a bunch of statistics in there that back me up.
And, you might also like this is a proposal, right? So you want someone to pay you to develop this. So even some information about like the popularity of these types of exhibits would be compelling too, if you could find that kind of research.
I tried to find statistics on that one, like how many kids play it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing exists.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist. Not
Yeah.
real.
I'm trying to think. ACM, the Association for Children's Museum, has a publication, and that might be a place to look. They might have that kind of data. Awesome. But I think it's a good idea. Keep going. Keep defining exactly what it is and how it's going to be different from what you've seen in the past. Okay, cool. So we have Laura. You ready? Or you're not showing? Oh, okay. So then we only have Matthew and Brian. You ready, Brian?
Yes, sure.
Okay. You want to be Zach?
Here's an idea. It'll print out a certificate that says junior science.
Oh, I just have
What? That's good. I know. Keep it coming. Keep going. Keep working on it, Zach. Okay. You're just presenting as Zach, by the way,
Okay.
just so you know.
Okay, I didn't set this up necessarily to run a full slideshow, so we'll just look at the big slides. I'm going to run through this based on, well, first of all, I wanted to put an introduction to the company I work for in my other life. Okay, I work for this company called Arch Design. What we do is we specialize in art and framing for the healthcare business, primarily pediatric centers and senior care centers. And this project was a big opportunity for me to talk about what I've learned working there in the last few years about evidence-based design and art therapy. Okay, we have a art consultant with us who is taking our product, which is primarily frames that hang on the wall, and turning them into interactive exhibit spaces. And what we are doing is proposing projects that allow, especially a pediatric patient, to interact with art, okay? Pediatric patients do well, not to say they do well, but fortunately I have reference on that. Established precedents by a big book that's part of this research for the project. It talks about how pediatric patients work well and develop in art-related tasks. Programs thus far in hospitals and institutions, there's Lurie Hospital in Chicago, who has partnered up with community institutions as well to get interactive projects going that are art-related in the hospital to help patients in anxiety reduction and relieving stress from psychological symptoms and improve their overall quality of life in the hospital. So this project's going to propose an art collection and related digital software and hardware to help patients, primarily pediatrics, because this example goes in a pediatric hospital, to improve their visual literacy, social emotional well-being, and health through the arts, regardless of the physical limitations of their hospitalization. That's important. That's where the modular nature of this project comes into play, and I'll show you. Each floor of a potential hospital will be stocked, framed with artwork that's embedded with the RFID chip. Patient activates a scanner. Scanners, in this case, fabricated with a camera. When you take a picture of any artwork hanging on the wall, it's really a scan. It can take single or multiple photos to bring the camera back to a little kiosk processing station located on the floor. That could be at any spot on this floor of this hospital diagram. There, the open floor there. Or it is a 3D, a standalone piece. Okay. Using the touchscreen interface, patients can then compose new images from the artwork recorded with their camera. New images create different interpretations depending on what these kids like. And it's versatile. The facility can rotate the RFID tagged artwork out to other floors, and the camera can be replaced with app-driven stuff to further enhance capability of patients that may have the mobility to use an app. That's where my project differentiates from what we're actually doing in real life. In real life, all we've gotten as far with at Arch is in the Jack Nicklaus Hospital, we have an app that was supposed to be on the iTunes store last week called I Spy Art. That is, I haven't gotten the app, beta or anything. I haven't been able to talk to our consultant about how it actually went. She went down there last week, but this is an app-based version of the same thing. Well, that's great, but not everyone in a pediatric hospital can use an app to do this. So I proposed putting the actual physical camera in there. So regardless of how the patient maneuvers around the floor, whether they can use app-based products or not, they at least have a camera. And the end goal is that the patient creates a new piece of art that they can print and walk out with when they leave their stay.
So what do you guys think?
I like it.
It's very therapeutic.
There's been a lot out on art therapy and how it benefits healing for a long time. And it's a priority at companies like mine now because you cannot even be in healthcare without using evidence-based design principles. Everything that goes into a facility now has to promote the healing of the patient in some way. Right. So this hits on a couple of really good points. It helps with anxieties, it helps with interpretation skills, and things like that. The interface itself, I haven't begun to design out yet. But I do envision it in this case being a standalone kiosk that obviously graphically would interface with the rest of the products that the proposed hospital would take from us, and say they may have the app based of the same idea on another floor. You know, you wouldn't necessarily need RFID tag framed artwork to do it, possibly do it in another way, but it does allow you for project consistency throughout the hospital based on what goes on a particular floor. Because especially in pediatrics, floors vary. Kids can only do certain things on certain floors. So adding the camera and the kiosk adds some versatility to what the hospital or what the company could eventually propose.
Mindy, do you have any thoughts? You're looking at.
I'm just a little confused on what you mean by editing the photos. Like, is it, which age range is it geared towards the editing? Like, are you talking like touchscreen finger painting, or are you like photoshopping? Like, what is it?
Actually, I didn't put in, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mindy, because it's missing from this slide, is about the targeted age range. And I would say it would have to be a 6 to 12 on this particular one. There has to be enough coordination to be able to do the process of it. So obviously it's a pediatric hospital, so we're even narrowing the audience more, but to be specific, answer your question, probably 6 to 12. And the interface itself would be really the most basic functionality of a Photoshop type editing software. You know, a real big, happy looking way to do layer masks and things like that really quickly through touch screen. So an assembled piece can show before a child just like that. We can, in essence, take this parrot from this picture, move it over there on the touch screen, and then put these mountains back there. And it automatically layer masks everything. They don't have to do nothing but pull it in. And then boom, hit print, and it can print it. It can either print on site or print through us, and we can send it to them frame.
I think that I'm really intrigued with the idea, but I think that your adaptation is adding a lot of expense and a lot of maintenance, and because of installing these kiosks, providing the cameras, and then with an end result of somehow working with existing art that is really not going to change all that much over time. You know, in my stay at the hospital, even if I'm like a cancer patient that's going to be there for a month or two.
You would say this is a limitation.
Yeah, I do. But I think, and I don't agree with you that the app, who's going to have access to the app? Everybody's going to have access to the app. That's why we make an app. And everybody has access to a camera, pretty much. You have your mom's phone or your phone. So the idea of putting these, throwing more technology on top of it, technological hardware on top of it, is adding an expense and a detraction from, I think a hospital is going to be like, are you freaking kidding me? We've got to keep track of these cameras, and then you got to install these kiosks, and that would be a tough sell. I like the app idea. If you can let go of what your company does, I mean, this is a great seed for getting your thinking going, but if you can let go specifically of what your company's done and developing an app that could be sold to the hospitals, customized for the hospitals, that encourages creativity for the patients, this art therapy that you're talking about, which I think is a really valid point, but facilitates the creation of art that can be shared through the hospital. Maybe you have a kiosk to share these art pieces, but somehow the app triggers the patient to document and take pictures and see beauty in their environment.
In any part of their environment, not necessarily what's framed on the wall.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Then you're hitting it out of the park with what this whole concept's trying to do for the patient and the way it engages them.
Right.
Yeah, the result I'm trying to achieve is exactly the same as you explained it, but you take it away from the frame piece, get rid of the hardware, and make the environment that the patient is in
the art
experience.
Yes,
the art, right.
The art. And then perhaps this is displayed on a monitor when you come into the hospital somehow. These stories, this art, that this is created in a digital maybe they're dynamically displayed digitally, you know, so that people come into the hospital and they're creating.
So we let the environment become.
That's what I like.
Which to be in, which for a child in an intimidating environment anyway, is. There's sizable research on that, obviously.
Yeah.
Available now to validate it for sure. So get away.
And the app provides
tagging along more hardware based on
Yeah.
something that is fixed on the
Yeah.
wall, like the picture frame.
Yeah.
That cut down expense.
Yeah.
Make the hospital the art itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in the hospital. I'm glad you're open to this idea. I'm in the hospital.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I see the same framed picture of grassy woodlands every day.
Well, part of the concept that Arch is experimenting with right now with this I Spy app is to make it a scavenger hunt based on art that's on the walls already.
Yes, and that kind of reminds me of what Jenna was getting at with the Van Gogh, Pokemon Go, the Van Gogh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
She had a huge proposal that encompassed the whole museum floor.
Yeah, I think that would be super fun. I mean, get kids really excited to go around the museum. But if you're trying, I think your app should focus more on the art therapy and creating art and creating, giving them some tools to be able to somehow document and like create art in a therapeutic way that can be displayed.
It can be app-based, but it still has to anchor physically somewhere.
Yeah.
Either in the lobby
Yeah.
or on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Matthew, you're last but not least.
Yay. I was taking my notes. I love like all the feedback, seriously.
Good.
Really. He's got his notepad too, yay. That's what's up.
I hope you guys feel like you're getting stuff out of this, and I think you're creating good work. These pieces that you're making are good.
I hope it's okay because we got a week off, and so it's like okay, come back in 2 weeks. Like hopefully, like everything's okay. Oh my goodness! Is everything okay? That's
Yeah.
supposed to be happening?
Yeah. Is this your flash drive? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So mine is called Stellar Scope. I ended up doing what I want, like what it's gonna do, because like the more I thought about it, it's like kind of different than what you want to do. So mine was why I was approached by the planetarium to help design a new edition for their telescope exhibit. Stellar Scope is a projection travel experience of the known universe provided by the NASA Celestial Object Database. And how it's going to work is in an enclosed spherical room, probably right below where the telescope would be in the planetarium. A star map is going to be projected on the ceiling and surrounding walls. It will show all known galaxies and the approximate distance between celestial objects. The map can be traversed in real-time 3D using a circular controller along with a few buttons that accompany it located in the center of the room. Each celestial object will have a basic description of what is known about it, but only shows up when you zoom in enough on the said object. And this information will show up on a separate screen that is like where you're located in the middle of the room. So who can benefit? Individuals who want to increase their knowledge of the universe. They'll be sure to get something out of it. Science and space grabs the attention of all ages. It's not very age specific at all. Like it's information. So college and institutions might also find use out of the technology that is given through Stellar Scope. Anyone who has an interest in science and places outside our world will be intrigued to check it out. The idea of how big the universe is really hard to understand, but actually going through it in this three-dimensional space that's kind of like a mini planetarium setup will be very beneficial to people. Yes, and also after like you're done with your experience, if there's like a couple like celestial objects that you like were intrigued by, there's a printer in the thing next to you that will like give you a little receipt of the object name, the scientific like NASA object name, and the celestial like origin point where it's like located. So you can go home and do more research than what this will give you. And that's pretty much like what it's going to look like in the middle. But it's kind of just like a mini planetarium, but it's like you're like going through it. You can travel through it. Like if you can like imagine like they show on like National Geographic, like stars zipping past you and whatnot. Like that's what you're going to be doing. If you want to go forward, you can go forward. If you want to go back, you can go back and go into the galaxy and that galaxy. It's going to be based off of all the information that we have from Hubble telescope and like where stars are located.
It'll be circular.
Yes, it'll be like so it'll be like a circular room. You'll be in like the middle in this little box down here. Like you have to come in down at the bottom. It's gonna like project everywhere all around you. And that's basically it. And you're gonna be in this little box here. And it can fit about like 5 people, I would say. It's gonna be a very intimate experience. Like you can probably get a little classroom in there. Like the kids can stand down here. You gotta like walk up in here and then to get me here. But this is basically the experience.
So
and it's weird because like you all have talked about like apps and a lot of like take home stuff with you, but like the information like you get from here, plus like your interest in wanting to learn more after leaving is what I'm really going after.
My head just went like, how do you build it?
You would do basically like a planetarium, but instead of like the one ball projector, there would be multiple projectors like going all over the place because planetariums only go from here out. This is new. This is going to be like 270. It seems like it's 360, but it's going to be like more than the 180 for sure.
This reminds me a little bit, since we're talking about Epcot, you know that my favorite ride at Epcot is Soar. Did you guys do Soar?
Oh yeah.
And it
the
really,
glider.
yeah,
Mhm.
it really has that feeling like you know, if the projector, if it's an interactive projection where what is projected on the screen is controlled by how you're moving this device. You might have like a little barfiness going on. I mean, you might have to design this where people are sitting down.
Yeah.
And somehow you might need some kind of, they might need to be able, the people who are watching might need to see kind of how you're driving through the space.
Because this could only fit 4 people up here and the rest of the class is down here. Is that what you're saying? Like,
right. I mean, it might be, I don't know, like they do those movies at Epcot where it's kind of like everybody's standing and you're flying through Canada or, you know, and do you know what I'm talking about?
My mom gets sick on those all the
I
time.
know,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that too much of that can be too much for
Or, you know, you have bars where you hold them.
Especially in this one, because what I gather that you're talking about is you have like a little sphere where you're manipulating like to see stuff. If
Yes.
you're like watching that, you are gonna get sick.
Yeah.
Like if you're in your like I think it's really cool, but if you're like not the one controlling it, that
Yeah.
is really disorienting, like real quick.
Yeah.
To enhance the educational experience too, how are you going to navigate where you are within this solar system?
You got the computer screen that's in here too that helps you. So like when you zoom in on planets, whenever it'll tell you like where you're at, and then you can use this computer screen to like really zoom out and then go like where you want to go. So that it'll be like it'll be like the program itself.
Right.
And then the program that helps you designate where you're at.
Uh-huh.
So.
You know, thank God we don't have to build these things.
I think this would be cool though. I've never even because I try to look up like pictures and stuff like that. It's just only planetariums. It's not like
you can make it. You can fabricate it.
That's true.
And you can make it work like that.
Well, and also there have to be 3D models made of the galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just a matter of being
That's why I said it would be like provided. Where would I put that? It would be provided by under description the NASA Celestial Object Database.
Uh-huh.
But it has applications
Do a quick
everywhere if it's movable.
Yeah.
I just keep seeing it go. I just keep seeing it go. Dome.
There was a lot of inflatable domes.
There was a long-standing exhibit at the Science Center that went down recently. Inflatable structure. Huge. And it was strapped to the ground like a tent.
The Explorer Dome. Yeah, that was only meant to be temporary.
Exactly. With the same type of fabrication. You know what I'm saying, right? inflatable planetarium.
Oh yeah, actually I've seen mini planetariums that are just little domes that are kind of like what he has.
Like those?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could totally like rent those, I feel like, to schools and whatever.
Right.
You know,
That would be your application. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. They're not that big.
Right.
That could fit in a gym. This one over here is fitting in a gym.
I like the way that you've like thought about giving them some context and knowing where you are, because you know, if you have like a map of the galaxy and then there's like a red box showing this is where you are in that space,
Yes. Yes.
and the box can get
It's not
bigger
just looking up. It's like, okay, you can go down to the computer screen
or
too,
smaller.
and then like just like.
Yeah, I like
I just
it.
thought it's not stupid. I was so worried like I was gonna have to go back to the drawing board again.
No. I think you're going to need to get creative about your mocking up of how this is going to work.
Mhm.
And I just noticed in your proposal. Can you go back to your proposal for a second?
Yes.
What would you guys say about under the why statement about his proposal? You see any problems with that sentence?
Well, they don't have a telescope there.
No, first person.
Oh.
Don't write first
yeah,
person.
yeah.
Like, this is not about you.
Yeah.
You know, just leave out that statement. Stellar scope is a projection travel experience of the known universe. The proposed location would be, you know, so I don't know, something.
Yeah.
But don't write in the first person in your proposals. This is not about you, it's about the project. So you want to keep that focus as much as possible on the project itself.
And so you think I should go with the inflatable aspect? Like this could be like, go dive into that more. Like this could be like rented out to schools and
yeah, which would be revenue generating for the sponsoring
Yes.
organization.
Right, because that was a great challenge with mine that Julie brought up. It's like, well, right now you're crunching, you're squeezing the budget, getting all these RFID scanner cameras, big, you know. Exactly. So if it's inflatable, movable, profitable planetarium.
Yeah.
And if it's all based off the same like database, like this could be brought up in like a computer at home, like a tablet. What you got to say? I want to know what you got to say because you're Mr. Science guy.
Go to Google really quick.
Okay.
Google Deep Space Explorer. Click the first link. Click the little watch video.
Just watch a video?
Yeah. It still works. This is an older program. To pop up, try it again.
Just say don't enable at the very bottom.
Try that again.
No, try that.
Dang it.
Is that kind of like a video game that does that?
Go back and see if I go back. There's a couple images on Google Images about it. Down. Oh, type in Starry Night after Deep Space Explorer. Now, there's.
I get what you're talking about.
No. There's a trying to find.
I didn't even know there was like.
Oh, scroll down.
You can just buy this stuff.
Scroll down. Dude, they don't have it. So what it is it's a game. It was released, gosh, ages ago. And wait, oh no, there it is. Click the one, third row, second image.
This one?
Yeah. Full screen. So that's a game where you can literally fly around.
Oh, I see the keypad roll left. Like literally, this is what you would be able to do. Literally.
Yeah, and you can fly around, and it has Jupiter, and then distance, speed, and it has different moons, and it's literally one of my favorite games I had since I was a little kid.
In the planetarium, you would not be able to like real quickly. I'm so sorry, but like with the planet, like with the screen on here, like you would not be able to zoom in even closer than this. Like this is meant for the bigger picture, and then the little screen in the middle gets you more intimate.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, well, Tyler, that's the only screenshot, but you can go to the size of galaxies, the entire universe, and every single star is modeled in here. and you can fly up and you can like zoom past them at like multitudes of the speed of light. And it's literally, if you just adapt, if I can bring in a copy to show you if you'd like. If you like adapt something like that to that, you're gold.
I'm just so glad this is like.
Yeah, I think too. Think about.
Zach, that's called Starry Night.
You
Starry
should
Night.
do a little research about curriculum and what grades do they talk about the solar system. I know my kids have had units on it. And what are the key educational points they want to get across when they teach about the solar system? And if you can tie your proposal into the curriculum and what is
like how we teach the idea that it's infinite, but like how's it infinite? Because it keeps going like this,
or
like this.
yeah,
You
or
can't just
maybe
like see, oh, it's just stars. Like no, it keeps going and going and going.
But what are the learning outcomes of the astronomy unit? What do they want kids to walk away with? And how can this help facilitate the learning outcomes of that unit? Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's like they really want them to understand the relative distances between I don't know what they
and why
want them
telescopes are important and just
Yeah.
Because like this will go right below, like the telescope would be up here. Like if it was like the big dome building, like this would just like get like dug out a little bit down deeper and then like get put below the telescope. And this would like make people want to go up to the telescope after they're done with here, maybe vice versa, come down.
Yeah.
So Zach, did you see that article this week that was like they used Hubble and they found out that the universe is 10 times as big as we thought it was because they found more stars behind stars.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Like but they say it's infinite, but they say it's infinite, so it's 10 times infinity is weird.
Everybody's good? Did you guys everybody presented who wanted to present? This was great. The projects are coming along. Sarah, I mentioned to these guys, I'm going to be on a flight next week at this time. So I'm going to propose an alternative time for a critique in the next week. And whoever can make it, can make it. And then I'm going to roll out Project 3. So the next time we get together, we'll talk about that and make sure you all understand it.
What's Project 2 do?
Okay.
I have to look it up. And not until November.
Yeah, it's like the second week of November.
Second week of November. But I think everybody's in a good place. Everybody's got good, solid ideas. And so I'm not too worried about Project 2. So I'd like to get a jump on Project 3 because I'd like your outcome of Project 3 to be a little bit different than the way I have it written right now. So I got to adjust that. So next week is Careers Week here, and we're having some guest speakers. What I would really love to do is the guest speaker that is talking at this time, I'd like to capture that maybe on a Google Hangout somehow and be able to.
Is it going to be in the Commons over here by the gym you said?
I don't know oh, that's the Internship Expo. That's on Wednesday. But during the week, next week, it's Careers Week. So we have all these guest speakers in town. So I'd like to capture maybe one of the presentations through Google Hangout if you guys help me facilitate that. And then it would be available for everybody to watch. And then in terms of critique time, I'll just pick another time, between now and Tuesday or now and 2 weeks from Tuesday to have a critique with you guys. Let me look it up. I think
I'm very interested in us seeing that.
I do. Oh wait, Communication Careers Week is coming. There's a lot of events going on. Let's see.
Zach, I'm literally going to use this as like a screenshot and mess with it in Photoshop to make the little control line one because I like how you can like see like the units away from the sun and like the speed it's traveling and like how it's like Europa's back here and like all that. I really like that. I'm glad you.
There are 3 guests: John Launius, Hazel Mulan. And there are a couple. It's going to be from Tuesday from 11 to 11:50 in Swerve Drip 101. And who are these people? You're probably wondering. Mm-hmm. Hazel Mulan, she has a background in editing, producing, script writing, commercials, and website design. She worked on a blimp doing promotion. She can speak to freelancing and career development. And then there's another person John Lannis of Vidzu. What is Vidzu? I don't know. I've heard of the company. Vidzu Media is here in St. Louis, it looks like. They do digital media, video production, HD video content applications for marketing, PR, trading, events, fundraising, business development. So they do graphics, it looks like, video stuff, some interactive, it looks like. So anyway, those are the two guest speakers.